Good morning and welcome to Gospel Bytes, where we take a bite at the gospel for the day. And today is Wednesday, May 10th. Reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus said to his disciples, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He takes away every branch in me that does not bear fruit, and everyone that does, he does And everyone that does he prunes, so that if you bears more fruit, you you are already pruned because of the word that I spoke to you. Remain in me as I remain in you. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit on its own unless it remains on the vine, so neither can you unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me will be will be thrown out like a branch and wither. People will gather them and throw them into a fire, and they will be burnt. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask for whatever you want and it will be done for you. By this is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So today Jesus speaks about the vine and the branches. He is the vine, we are the branches. And the Father is the vine grower who prunes the vines. We have lots of plants here in the church and even in the rectory. And oftentimes um, we we have these plants that uh, just burst into leaves, and some of them they just grow really long, and so um, a lot of these are non-bearing, not fruit-bearing plants. So once in a while we have to trim them so that they don't get messy, or sometimes they get caught up in the when they move the plants, and eventually they, part of them, sometimes the whole vine is pulled out when you don't cut the branches, you know. But these plants are for decorative purposes, and Jesus is saying, we're not just church. The church is not just here as a decoration. We're not here just to make things look good and beautiful and fruitful, or good and beautiful and alive, but we don't bear fruit. There's a difference between um, being successful and being fruitful. When we think of success, we think of um, projects and being busy, all these activities. Bearing fruit means that we're building disciples. We are making people follow Christ. We are leading people to Jesus. Being successful means that, we have many people participating. Now our church is growing in number. We have people coming in, and that one is success. Bearing fruit means there's something that is happening in the lives of the people, that they are changing their lives, that they're moving to conversion. That is the fruit of discipleship. And sometimes a church may appear to be growing, may appear to have many people, but you realize that they're not bearing fruit. I remember going to this church one time, and the church was packed; it was full. But when I tried to look around and even observe their liturgy, it was really strange. It didn't feel like it was a mass. It didn't feel like there was that the people knew each other. It didn't feel that they cared about each other. It didn't feel that they were sincere in their as they prayed. So eventually, the attendance after a few years, it died down because the people didn't know each other. I remember there was one lady who said, "Oh, I've been coming here for 2 years. Not one person talked to me, and yet they were boasting that they have so many projects, so many people coming to their church, but there was no fruit. People didn't know about their faith. They didn't know any catechism. They didn't know how it is to be church. And I said, God has to prune, and I think that's what the church is going through. It's going through a severe pruning, right from the priesthood all the way to the lay members. Because you can have a lot of priests. I remember I've spoken to a non-Catholic pastor, and he said, "Yeah, our problem is that, well, we have a lot of clergy. Our problem is that we don't have enough people, because in their church they had all kinds of pastors, married women, everybody else, and the problem is that they don't have enough people. You can have a lot of clergy, and I think that's where the problem comes in. We have so many priests who do not follow the teachings of Christ, who are not disciples, who are teaching their own ideologies, their own philosophies and theologies, and they themselves cannot follow the teachings of Christ. So we are experiencing the pruning, and the ones who truly, want to follow the Lord, and they stay behind. But the others who are proud enough to say, no, no, I know better, then they are the ones who leave, or who go their own way. It's the same thing with lay people. When they say, "Oh, I cannot accept that teaching, so I have to leave." When they have their own idea, and God cannot seem to convince them in their own understanding of whatever teaching of the church may be. So Jesus is saying, "Abide in me." There will be pruning, because eventually there is the church has to bear fruit. It will grow, but it will have to be pruned, and we are going through that severe pruning now. And so just remain steadfast and pray to the Lord that He will keep us, help us to remain and abide in Him. That we don't just jump ship because we don't agree with this or that teaching. And so ask for that special grace. I'm Father Jerry Sembrano for another edition of Gospel Bytes. And this is Faith for another edition of Gospel Bytes. God bless you. We'll see you soon. Let's get ready for Mass.